the corner where the treats at.
Is this the passing of the torch, right? Is this what this signifies?
It comes down to that front office and what they feel is most important.
The champ is here. We've touched down from a higher plane. Why you landed here?
We always look forward to that week because it was always intense.
You know that we ain't coming back. We about to.
The man, the myth, the legend, Dante Hall. My favorite player growing up was Dante Hall. I love you guys in the show, but Dante was my guy.
Get to dashing because you done on the warfare.
This episode of Chief Concerns is brought to you by betonline.ag. Hey there, Marcus Dash here from Chief Concerns. Just want to comment and say BetOnline is your #1 source for all your sports betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for football, baseball, boxing, golf, and much more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Chief Concerns, your post-game show. I'm Marcus Dash here with legendary Chiefs tight end Jason Dunn and my brother Teja Dash. Another tough one for many different reasons, I would say, in this game tonight. But, yeah, we're just going to kind of just jump right into it. Everyone's talking about this offsides, neutral zone. By the way, JD, I played football in high school. I played low-level college football. I have never heard of offsides and neutral zone infraction on an offensive player. I mean, I guess I've just come to know that as that's usually a D. Usually get that the D-line penalty. But I've never seen the offense get a neutral zone infraction before. Usually because you're lined up as a receiver, you're giving the thumbs up. The ref saying, "Yeah, you're good, you're good." Now, was that Mahomes yelling at the ref because maybe the ref said he was good? I don't know. But what do you make of the penalty, JD?
What I make of it, it was a penalty. It was the right call because he was lined up in the neutral zone. And usually it happens when a guy doesn't check enough on the sideline to get a thumbs up. And sometimes what the ref had to do, like he has to give a thumbs up or a nod or something to let you know. So as far as like at the end, I don't know who Patrick was yelling at. I know he was hot. I know he's pissed off. Heck, it looked like he was yelling at everybody. He told somebody, "Get up off me." I heard him. I could tell that in his lips. So I do know that. And so a lot of it's just a frustration that he's feeling right now, just from the losses that he's had, and not being able to capitalize on, touchdowns, moving the ball effectively, on a consistent basis. And so all those things, he's feeling that. He's feeling all those pressures of those things right now. And the frustration comes out in a guy that usually keeps his composure about himself. That's what you're seeing. But yeah, hey man, look, that's a mistake that Kadarius Toney made, and that was a mistake that shouldn't have happened. But that to me, that's a lack of focus. Shouldn't happen. Should not happen. So it's tough, man. It's a tough loss. Because, I felt everybody, felt he was going to go down and score. And then when you get the touchdown, right, you see the results of it when you actually, you don't make that call, totally different, right? So he went from, the hero to now, the GOAT, the ghoul. So.
Teja, your initial thoughts, because you kind of pointed out on the next play, and I think a lot of what Mahomes is pissed off about is and this is the thing, it's not blaming the refs. It's never blaming the ref thing. It's what we always talked about on the show. It's an inconsistency with the calls that these refs make. Because the play that's going viral right now online is the very next play after the offsides on Toney. It was that Von Miller, if you looked at where he was lined up, in the neutral zone. He was offsides.
He was more offsides than Toney was. He was almost like a half yard off. So he wasn't even on the imaginary blue line. He was like beyond the blue line.
And that's what Mahomes maybe can be pissed off about, the inconsistency of the calls. You sometimes call an offside, you don't call an offsides. But I tell you, what were your thoughts on it? Because that was kind of where you were kind of going with that.
Yeah, I just think if you're going to call it both ways, it sucks because it's a penalty that really doesn't affect the game at all, and it's part of the rule. So, you know, I as a fan, I get frustrated because you hear when they don't call pass interference plays, they say, oh, the contact didn't. I don't know the exact wording they use, but the contact didn't impact the receiver in such a way to us to warrant to call a penalty. What do you mean? Is it a penalty or not? Like, right? Like they don't look at an offsides after it's called and be like, well, did his offsides really impact the play? Like, no, we won't call it. Like, no, it's offside, so call it, right? So if a guy's getting mugged, you call it. Who cares how much it impacts the receiver? So again, it goes back to I just think there's way too many subjective calls in football, and it's just love it or hate it, it's a very inaccurate sport sometimes. Like the guy who was making the yardage on the on the punt. We were laughing about that. He was breaking up a fight, and then he has to remember where he thought the ball went out of bounds on the punt. It's like, oh yeah, what did he mark that in his head? Remember the 37. I'm going to go break up a fight, and now I'm going to go mark the ball that landed about 30 seconds ago. But it's the sport we love, and sport that makes us the most mad. So.
Well, the thing is, because it went this way against us, it's going to be more amplified, right?
Yeah.
We're going to bring it up.
Yeah.
The thing is, when it goes in our favor, then it's all right. We let it go. These calls are always going to be subjective. It's always been like that. It hasn't changed. And the crazy part is, you think the technology that they have, that it would, or at least saying, hey, look, if we got this wrong, let's go back and look over it, right? But like you said, we clearly seen that he was offsides. And then, of course, you said the defensive line, Von Miller, he's offsides. You're not making that call. Then, what is it? But it's what it is? It's on the coaches on the sideline to be like, hey, man, he's lined up offsides. Like sometimes you need to try to at least, push to get a call. You have to do that. You got to push to try to get a call. But, man, to be honest with you, and the reality is, when you see the course of the game, it still shouldn't have had to come down to this. Okay.
Yeah.
Just be real. Let's get into, the reality of us not scoring the points that we need, and not having the consistency on the offense like we should, to where the game is where it was. I think defensively they straightened up and started playing a much better game, and it showed. Shoot, Bolton coming back, he showed why he is the force that he is. So I just, for the life of me, when we talk about these things, and I keep hearing from guys that I played with, we kind of texting before this, where's the discipline? Is the discipline? Is it lack of responsibility? Where's the lack of focus? When things like this happen, and I think somebody said this in the comment, it came up, was talking about sometimes that accountability and lack of concentration could be on the coaches. Are they not emphasizing this enough? Right? So I don't know, man. It's a lot. It's a lot to kind of go through. But we knew it was going to be a tough game. This is it. This is the Bills. We knew it was going to be a tough game. Look, their back was getting well. They're playing to try to still salvage their season as much as possible. Josh Allen's eyes, we seen him was like saucers. Like it was a high level game that we're sitting there talking about. High, stressful, anxiety-filled game for everybody, for both teams. So
obviously everyone's talking about the KT offsides play. That's going to be talked about all week, probably till our next game. But what the last play of the game, this is where we've talked about, kind of not having talk about the receiver rotation a little bit. Last play of the game, what sticks out to me is they show Tony on the sideline, right? The guy next to him, I'm like, wait, is that 24 or is that number 4? And I get a little zoom out, and it's Tony staying next to Rashee Rice on the side for the sideline on the final play of the game. Why is Rashee Rice in the game, JD? Come on. It's week 14 now. He's proven who he is at this point. Obviously, he had the fumble, which I want to get into that as well, because you called that potentially being an issue last week.
Sure did. I told you. It will cost us. And I said he needs to protect the football, because if you don't, it will cost us. And sure enough, that sucker caught, he coughed one up. As well as he plays, and he does. He does a hell of a job catching the football, making plays for us. But he has to go and emphasize to let him know, like, look, man, our livelihood is in your hands when you have that football. And you need it protected at all costs, right? And so it's just him learning there's much more for you to do. There's much more for you to do. And so that element of the game that you got to get better at, like you can't just be dropping the ball on the ground. You can't. But Ruck, he'll get it together, man. Look, we like everything he does, but absolutely going back to your point, it makes no sense to me. Zero. And I'm sitting there, I'm looking at the same thing personnel-wise. I'm like, okay, why is it that? Right? Your productive guys, they're not in there. So are you just switching around and not thinking, well, look, these guys are better at the end of the play. I trust these guys more. These guys are more reliable, catching the football, better hands, or what? What is it? Okay, so that's something inside of that room the coaches have to answer. Really, they have to answer that. Okay, because if you're my top dog, I'm not taking you out. I'm not sending Jamar Chase to the bench for another guy. I'm not going to send Justin Jefferson to the bench, Devontae Adams to the bench. I'm just saying, if you're better, if I know a guy's more reliable than somebody else, hey, guess what? I'm gonna ride the big dog right now. Okay, the guy that's been eating for us. All right, come out here and make a play. So that's a great observation. That's a great observation.
Real fast, Mahomes just said, I played 7 years in the NFL and I've never seen an offensive offsides called. You wait until a minute left to make a call like that. He said he asked the refs for an explanation and didn't get one. Just let us play the game, he said.
If you see how late the flag comes in, the flag is really late.
Yeah.
You want to throw it. It was like they already into their routes. And Patrick's already almost into the he throws the flag like, okay, let me just go ahead and throw this thing. Why? You know what I mean? Like what made you compel you to make that throw? To make that call. Because he could have easily just let it go. But I don't know, man. Sometimes some judges want to do their job way too well. Now all of a sudden you want to be the guy on TV to make the call. Okay? Maybe you got to add a boy or something like that. I don't know.
But it's even more amplified how he misses the next one. Like you said, no, coaches should say something, but do you have to say something to a guy who's obviously on top of the offsides today? You shouldn't have to say anything to him, especially the next play. He should be on it like a hawk the rest of if you're going to make a right call for the rest of the game after that, it better be offsides, because if you're going to make that one, you got to make all of them, all of the borderline ones. If the guy's a long fingernail, a hangnail that's going over the line, you call offsides on that.
But it has to be the guy. It has to be ref on the other side making that call. And so I think that's why he didn't call on Von Miller, because he was on the other side. And so the ref on the other side has to be the one to make that call. If I'm not mistaken, right?
I thought it was the same side. Maybe I was wrong.
I don't know. I'm just saying, because sometimes I didn't get to see. I'm just asking. I thought Von Miller was on the top at that time. He might not have been. He might be right.
He was on the same side as where Tony was.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah.
I know. Brutal. There's no excuse. We tried. We really did try.
Yeah. Well, maybe that sucker got fussed at, and all of a sudden he want to make that call now. He was like, "Oh, shoot, I made that. Let me put my flag in my pocket now. No, don't do it now. Don't do it now. No,
yeah.
You pulled it out last time. Pull it out this time."
When they showed the sideline view after our final play, when they showed Mahomes like freaking out and he was being held back when he was like talking to the ref, they show the ref. You could see the ref had a little smirk on his face. He listening to Mahomes like talk crap to him.
Here's the thing. You never want to leave it in the ref's hands. Don't leave it to chance or anything like that happening, right? Like have it tight. Have your stuff tight, especially at that point of the game, right? Like, that's the thing about it. Like, you had to emphasize, like, hey, man, we got to make sure we on point with everything. Like, no mistakes. And then I know you reiterate that on the sidelines and in the huddle. Hey, look, line up, no mistakes. No mistakes whatsoever. And so that has to be done. But it's a ticky-tack call. That's a ticky-tack call, man. I don't want as much as we sitting over here saying, okay, you don't make that call. In the 7 years, you haven't heard him make that call. All right. So you catch it. Okay. He's offsides. Okay. He is. Right. It's the rules.
Yeah.
Do you just got to say, hey, look, man, we understand what the rules are going to be. They're going to be watching us, just like Jawan Taylor and everything else. They're going to be watching what we do. Okay. We don't get the calls. It's like everybody's hollering the Chiefs always get the call. No, we don't. We always get the calls. I think it was several calls, this game that I looked like it went the other way. So, but my thing is, I think, go ahead. Go ahead, Doug.
No, I was going to say, I do wish, I will say this. Like, I know he's upset and get upset. You could tell, even though he wasn't flipping out yet, you could tell Mahomes was really distracted in those last two plays after it. Like, it was, he couldn't stop thinking about how they just won the game, and he couldn't get back to like the game. I want him to be a little more settled down and focused when a game can still be won. It wasn't over yet. Like, it wasn't, we've done crazier. That's the thing about the Chiefs. Whatever we face in the future, we've done crazier. We've done like more unlikely things. So don't ever think it's over, and don't ever act like that play just like, took all the air out of us and we can't go on now.
You're referring to the 3rd and 15 timeout where while he's talking to Andy, he's also like bickering with the ref a little bit.
Even the ref, and just like he just looked like he wasn't like, I don't think he was even doing this.
So here's
like his normal like go to.
So here's the thing with that. Okay, this is why it's important that you have somebody that can bring you back and calm you down and get you back focused. Okay, that element is what is missing during this time, and it wasn't only him that was affected by this play; it was everybody else.
Yeah.
The very next play, Travis and Tony both go out. Okay, so it wasn't just that change, Marcus, that you were talking about before. There was also two Travis and them go out on the 3rd down play.
Yeah,
and I'm like, okay, do you make a call a timeout then before that to regroup? Okay, listen, we can't control that. All right, we can still make it manageable. Okay, let's get a play in here that's still a play that's manageable, that we catch a football. All right, and if it's 4th down, let it be 4th and 8 or 4th and 6, something like that. Okay, we can do that last play, that 4th down play. I have no idea what routes there were, because I watched it from the widescreen and I'm sitting there like, what route is this? Like, it made no sense, because I'm thinking, in my head, I'm like, okay, fine. Here's the concept. What you want to try to do is you want to try to at least open up the middle somewhat, right? Maybe the seams, however you want to make the seams, run somebody out, run them deep, run the safety off, okay, get the corner. So you take 2. We almost know that Travis is going to be double teamed on that, right? So at least 2 or 3 people one-on-one when you have that. When I looked at the routes, it made no sense whatsoever on that 4th down. And I'm looking at it, I'm just like, what concept is this? What are we trying to do on this play? And I'm thinking, look, muddled to Patrick. I think it's what pissed him off even more, because it's like, this is a bad call. He ain't going to say that. But as far as like that last play for me, okay, a guy that's been on offense and I'm seeing things, I know, the rules on particular, routes and what you're trying to do, okay, because now you're trying to get a 1st down. I don't know what the play call was. I looked at it, I'm just like, it doesn't look right. Doesn't seem right. So everybody was discombobulated over that entire play. But then, like you said, the very next 2 plays, it was just out of sorts. I mean, it really was. So that to me, that's an important. It's important to see that, because if you're looking for a team to go to the Super Bowl to win, a team like that, regardless of what type of adversity, you got to be able to work through it. You have to. Okay, you got to focus back up. Like, okay, fine, cool, we didn't get that right. Hey, blow it off. We ain't got time for that. All right, let's get back here, get into the position where we can at least put ourselves in a place to get the 1st down and keep playing ball. All right. So I think it has to do with like just a lot of the stuff that's been going on this past week, a lot of it, right? The past few weeks, the criticism, all these things that guys have to deal with and have to feel. And sometimes those things are getting to the guys, it's getting to all of them. You can kind of see it right now. You can see it. So he wore the frustration on he wore the frustration. You've seen it.
Do you think, and that's something we love about Mahomes, he kind of, he gives you the answers you always want to hear from your quarterback. But there was, we've seen in the past, there's guys like Aaron Rodgers who make subtle comments about the receiving group and stuff. Like these guys need to get with it. Because I mean, I've seen online, it's like, okay, but Mahomes needs to like stop being Mr. Nice Guy when he talks to the press and stuff. He needs to kind of like make comments like, all right, we need our guys to step up now. Like it seems like, Mahomes is a really nice guy, and I love that from our quarterback. But do you think it would be like I don't know if it's a positive thing, but I think it could be something that it could light a little fire up our receiver room's ass a little bit by if he was a little bit more critical with about his guys talking to the media?
No, no, because if that's not him, that's not who he should be, right? I mean, you be who you are, right? And if guys trust you because you have been like the voice of reason, you have been the guy that has been soothing to them as far as being able to get things done. At least for some guys, they operate better than that with that, as opposed to, dog cussing them and doing things like that. Now, look, you can raise your voice and he should be able to hey, man, look, we need more out of you. There's nothing wrong with that at all. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I know myself, if somebody comes to me in a particular way, and dog cusses me, we might have to go ahead and go on and lace them up like, hey, man, look, don't talk to me this way. I'm just letting you know. We both in here grown folk trying to do right. So as long as you keep it respectful and I understand where you're coming from, cool, I get that. But I don't want him manufacturing something that he isn't, okay? There's enough frustration going on the team that the guys are feeling already. But it's what does that mean, lighting the fire in his tail? Yeah, sure. Maybe in the nicest way possible, hey, guys, you got to do better than what, hey, fine, cool. Pat, we got you. No problem with that. But that was, at the end of the game, like holding him back, I don't think I've ever seen him. I've seen that before, that type of Patrick Mahomes. I don't think I've ever seen that.
Never. You only seen that when he wanted to come back in from the injury. You've only seen that kind of never in this case.
Right. That's the passion. That's the passion. But hell, that should have been that guy damn near 5 weeks ago.
I know. Hey, I will say this though: better outcome than the last time we faced the Bills in the regular season.
It's true.
Absolutely killed us last season. So,
talk about the offense. I know the last drive is the one that's going to make the rounds, and obviously 3-and-out drives usually aren't the ones that people talk about during the week and stuff. But the drive that we had before that last one, that was awful, man. That was we talk about ways we could have taken a lead, and we didn't have to come down to KT's offsides. We got the ball. We got the great stop, which I thought, JD, would you have accepted that penalty, by the way, to make it 4th and 6, or would you have taken the way we did it, where we accepted the holding call? It was like 3rd and long, and then we sacked them and make it like 4th and 28.
Oh yeah, take them back.
Yeah,
I would have definitely took them back. Because you never know what it would have happened. Like it'd have been hard for them to make that with 27, whatever it was, 3rd and whatever. Right? All you had to do was make sure no holding or anything like that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, you try to bring a little bit of pressure, make them get rid of the ball early and quick and fast. That's what you want to be able to do. But you could win either way. My thing is, Menahu got back there, he got a sack, perfect. Okay, get him back a little bit further. Now gets you a little bit better field position. Okay. So matter of fact, heck, if I'm punt rush, I'm coming after the ball. Come and block it. Put a little bit more pressure on it. That's like booted it. So every little thing helps, man. Every little thing helps. But that series, I definitely agree with you. That's bad. The play calling. I was going to send it to you, man, because I wanted to show you the plays. I'm just like, this is it. Richie James actually ran a great route, and Pat came to him late, and it kind of went to the ground. And Richie had to dive for it. But the initial route he ran, that's what I'm talking about. Like a guy that actually knows how to run like the dig routes, looked perfect. Had plenty of space. If Pat came to him early, I mean, shoot, it's like it might have been running today. But
I also thought that call that on the previous Bills drive that you and I were talking about, Marcus, it looked like the receiver was clearing out the cornerback.
Yeah, was it legal contact?
Legal contact, yeah.
Yeah, JD, because it was clear that receiver wasn't even running a route. He was just running upfield, and he was kind of running into it because it was clearing out for the underneath slant. And it was like, wait, they're calling this. And then at the end of the route, after the flags are thrown, then he like makes a little cut to the out. Like, dude, come on, you were running a route.
Doug is hell of an actor. Ref, you hold me. I would have said everything. But like you said, it goes into the consistency of the refs, right? But I think really, man, I think a lot of the concern is, sometimes this lull in the offense. It's the lull in the offense. Like when you have a chance and opportunity to go and score, like you now to show us, right? Defense done what they need to do.
Yeah,
perfect. Hell, good job, defense. Now offense. Now it's our turn. Okay. And then all of a sudden it's like 3 downs. Like, oh, well, hell, what'd you do with the opportunity? What'd you do with the opportunity? And it was lost. So, I don't know, man. So many questions that you just see. Like you said, the rotation of what you look like, what you play calling in itself. At times it looked brilliant. It's like, oh, shit, like you got a nice rhythm. Things look good like this, right? And then all of a sudden it's just like, that sucker just came out here, just didn't really have a plan. Didn't have a plan. So.
Yeah, Lenny, that's a good one. Lenny Dawson, the Chiefs have more concerns than this show. That's there's quite a bit of concerns. Yeah.
It sounds like he wanted to blast them after last week. He said that he intentionally didn't blast officiating last week, but after seeing yet another game influenced by late game ref decisions, he's just visibly outwardly frustrated. So,
I mean, it is two pivotal calls at the end of these games. It's almost like, are they just trying to get the Chiefs back for the officiating getting dominated during the Super Bowl last year because they made an end of game call? I mean, I don't understand. It's just 2 weeks in a row, the same similar like circumstances.
You know what it is? As much as we can hear on TV, they go to New York for the calls. How come the damn refs can't get that on the field? The same type of, I'm giving you a suggestion. Hey, it wasn't this. It wasn't also. It wasn't like that was pass interference. Like make that call. So that's what gets me, because with the technology, that's what it seems like. You should never get those calls like that wrong. And I think now there should be at least enough to debate to say, hey, I want to challenge your ruling, your call. I want to challenge to see if he's offside. I want to challenge to see if it's a PI. I think you should have every right to do that. Maybe it's another whole different flag that you only get one of those a game, right? Just one. I don't know, but you got to do something.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Andy Reid even showed frustration. He never shows frustration towards refs, and I've never seen him do it in press conferences.
Well, he saw Pat losing his cool, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm going with him on this one."
Yeah,
JD. So obviously, this is the main news, right? This whole Tony and Mahomes being pissed off. But if that never happened, everyone would be talking about what we saw probably midway through the third quarter was Chris Jones kind of having a little back and forth with I think it was Joe Cullen. As a former player, players just get fired up and heated up, especially with their positional coaches more so than any other coaches, right? Because you're with that person all the time. Yeah. Because I've seen a lot of people making a big deal. Oh man, Chiefs are arguing with their. You got Chris Jones arguing with his D-line coach on the sideline. Man, everything's going wrong with this team right now. I want you to kind of like put out that fire, because people may not know that this is kind of stuff that happens on the sidelines with it. Because it's not all the time where the camera's going to show, Jason Dunn arguing with his tight end coach or Chris Jones having a back and forth with his D line. I mean, they caught that in a vulnerable moment for the two of them, but that kind of stuff happens all the time.
Yeah, it does happen. It does happen. And you see the very next shot, Chris Jones is sitting there almost cheesing and smiling and listening to what he's saying. And so it's just like, both guys are passionate and frustrated. They're all trying to win, right? And there might be a disagreement. And so those are, the clipboard down with that. Do it your way then. If that's how it is, you want to listen to what I want to tell you. Chris, all right, man, my bad. We don't know. So it's the optics of it, obviously. And so we see this. We see it up and down all the time. So these things do happen. There's arguments, but they're both professionals, right? And they're all trying to win. And so the coaches are passionate guys, just like the players are. So I like that fire. As long as there was nobody throwing no punches or nobody holding anybody back, that's when it becomes a little bit different. Okay. But if it's two guys just kind of, yelling at each other, chopping it up, then so be it. Right.
JD, so we're getting a question here from Taryn Young. Taryn, appreciate the love you showing the show. So he's got a question for you. Can you speak to Mahomes' leadership in the locker room? It seems like he doesn't have the wide receivers' attention.
Look, I think Patrick is a great leader, and you will be absolutely idiot not to listen to what he has to say. And so as much as he's trying to lead and he's telling the guys what to do and how to do it, it's still incumbent upon those guys to listen to what he's got to say. I mean, really. And so I'm not saying that the guys don't care or he's not leading or doesn't have their attention, but sometimes you just have certain personalities, right, that they are who they are. And I'll kind of talk about this, so, MVS had that little thing this week where, he tongue in cheek was like, hey, you know what? I don't know what you're talking about. Wide receivers are fine, whatever. It might just be his personality, right? He might just not be a guy that gets rattled easy and try to stay away from all the distraction and negativity as much as possible, right? By doing it in a way that he's playing mind games with whoever, himself, other receivers, and, the media. But I do believe that Patrick, he's definitely got their ear, no doubt about it. But like I said, it's on the guys for them to show up. They got to be able to show up. But here's the thing. That's why it was so important, I keep going back to this, to have a veteran wide receiver in the room. A guy that's been there before, a guy that has been war-torn and battle-tested. They're worried to let these guys know what it means to be a professional wide receiver in the league, what it takes to be in the league. And so that's almost like going back to Ryan Clark was talking about Deontay Johnson. Some of these guys that are pouting and all the way that they act on it, that's real. Shit, I was seeing that shit happen over in high school, and I knew it. I was like, man, when did they start this? When did it start getting to the place where now the a player is he's just too good to listen to what a coach can say or a leader can say, right? And you see it every year. I mean, in our locker room, we have young guys maybe like, okay, fine, do it the way you want to do it. As a veteran, I'm gonna give you information. I'm gonna give you this. Fine, do it the way you want to do it. Well, sometimes you have a guy that's constantly right there, put it in, telling you like, look, man, hey, that ain't okay. That ain't the way that we do things. All right. If you want to be a professional, this is how you work. So when you have somebody that, is a leadership role or wide receiver that has a lot of experience in him, he can tell guys what it means to go through the mud, the hard times, how you conduct yourself, how you're supposed to respond, how you respond to media, how to leave guys alone. I had that when I went to Philly. When I got to Philly, Jimmy Johnson like, look, JD, don't listen to the papers and don't listen to the radio. Right? Don't read the papers, don't listen to the radio. Okay? Don't do it. But it took an older guy like that who'd been in the league for 10 years to show me the ropes about what it is that you have to do, how you manage yourself on the field and off the field. Those things are so important. It's so important. And Patrick can't do it alone. He's got his own roommate to worry. He got to try to worry about not just him, but the wide receiver, the O-line, the running back, tight end, everybody, right? Now, they got obviously their experienced guys in those rooms, and that's why they're better for it. That's why the running back room works the way that they work, right? Of Jet McKinnon. That's why the O-line works like they work, right? Because of a Donovan Smith or the Joe Thuney, okay? That's why that tight end room works, because you got a Travis Kelce in there. So when you see things like that, the only one that is having this up and down is the wide receiver room, because you don't have that wily vet in it. Okay, so that's it. That's all I want to say. I'll leave it at that. Start getting me hot in here, man. I'm sorry.
You're good, man. That was good stuff. So one thing before I wanted to have you guys just kind of give me your what you think. What is your takeaway from this game as we head into next week? But there was former teammate of yours, JD, actually, and I had actually just talked about the Chris Jones thing. But he tweeted, it was Tim Grunhard. Grunny said, "I don't know what to say. Chris Jones / D-line coach throwing tablets on the ground. Patrick going after the refs and losing it on the sideline. Ship is tanking on water. Can they bail it out before it sinks? It's going to take the leadership to grab a bucket." # frustration. What do you make of what Grunny says there?
No, it's true. That is true. Because when you see these things, it looks like the team is unraveling. And like I said, it's with the things that's been happening over the weeks, right? Nobody likes to lose. Everybody hates it. And the thing is, because you've been so used to winning, right? Then all of a sudden, next thing you know, you're fussing and you're arguing when things are not going well. Okay, where you usually keep your composure, you work through adversity. Now it's getting to you. Okay, you hear the outside noise, and that's one thing you don't want to do. You don't want to hear the noise on the outside that comes into the room, because now that causes dissension. And then guys, obviously, when coaches are coming here, because everybody's trying to win, and so I've been there, I've seen it. I've been on teams like that. My 11 years of playing, that they will go toe to toe when things are not working well. Sometimes you'll yell and you'll fuss and fight. Heck, I seen somebody on the plane, you go say who, but guys got up, coaches and the players ready to fight. I mean, literally ready to swing on each other. It was almost like you had to take an emergency landing, because it's almost out of control.
Wow.
Yeah. So these things do happen, but it happened on our way back, from a game on a plane. And so, somebody said something to somebody else that they didn't like, and then there you go. There you go.
You said player on player or player on coach?
No, player on coach.
Okay.
Player on coach. And I'm talking about, it was like, you got to hold the guy back, because he's about to kill him.
Jeez.
And it was something, he said a little something slyly, okay, that was kind of inappropriate in a way. Because guys take pride in what they do and how they play. And so if somebody criticizes that, and you're close to me, then guess what? I'm gonna take my anger out on you. The thing is, when we're in Twitter world and on the keyboard, I can't get my hands around you. I can't put my hands on you. Okay, and it's everybody saying whoever, right? Those are the things that you really can't play into. You can't listen to those things in that, man. But it's just like anything. Heck, y'all brothers, right? Y'all family. Y'all know what it means to fight, right? How many times y'all been at each other's necks? I'm the youngest out of 11. We've been at each other's necks for, when things don't work well. It happens, man. It's family. It's family.
Oh yeah, we've had it out for each other before.
Yeah.
So obviously next week we are playing so let me get do you guys know off the top of your head who we're playing next week? We are playing the Patriots. Oh yeah, that's right. It's the game that got flexed out the Monday night. So yeah, playing the Patriots at 1:00 next Sunday.
Did you see right here what Andy Reid said he was not pleased? Officials did not warn him that Kadarius Toney was lined up all sides the way they have in the past. So he's basically, I thought about this, and I'm like, so if Kadarius checked with you and you gave him the thumbs up and okay, you can't make that call, because it's on you. Now, are you the one that's incompetent? Okay? You've already given him the thumbs up. You gave him the head nod. You've been doing this. That right there should not happen. And so I think it's what Andy said. He said it's a bit embarrassing for the National Football League for that to take place. And E-Dub hit me up and said the same thing. Doesn't he check with the refs? Absolutely, he should. He should do it every time. I mean, that's what you do. That's what you do. I know I don't want to, revisit that, but that's, these things are just coming out. Things are just coming out.
I've seen highlights before where the guy turns and looks and the ref's like, And then he calls a penalty right afterwards. It's like, dude, wait, what? How do you do that? I mean, what you just that's like giving a guy a green light to go through the yellow and be like, nope, it was red. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Lamar Wildcard, Wallace. They did that to Washington and Terry McLaurin last year. I remember that. I think there was a Thursday night game actually, and he had a whole thing about it at the post-game show after.
Really?
Yeah, it was when they played the Bears on Thursday night last year.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
It's crazy, man. But obviously, here's the crazy thing. So right now we were talking about, maybe getting the 1 seed, still having home field advantage. We're only like a game above Denver now in the division. So I never thought this was going to be a conversation, but we're approaching maybe having that conversation. Will we be one of the wild card teams coming out of the AFC? But we still got some time for that. But there's a lot of fans right now, some in the chat, a lot online. They're waving the white flag on the season. They're like, okay, we'll get to the playoffs, probably be done. And I'm not saying that, JD. I'm not saying I don't think that.
Yeah, no, I know you just got to do the, Yeah.
I got to speak for some of the fans out there, who I'm trying to help them. I want to talk them off the ledge. So what are your takeaways, and how do you spin what happened today in kind of a positive in a way, JD? Because the one thing I'll say is, we talked about this week on our show who needed the game more, and we talked about fighting for survival, which is Buffalo was fighting for their survival of the season. If they lost this game, they're booking trips to Maui. They had to win this game. We're not in any way, shape, or form gonna not make the playoffs. We're gonna make the playoffs. We're gonna get there. So there wasn't a survival mode for us. Yes, was it survival mode to kind of get back on track and look good offensively? Oh, for sure. But they had more, there was more at stake for them. And every game from here on out for them, and I think probably for us now too, is do or die, must win. And that's kind of what they're going through over there in Buffalo. So that was kind of, and the fact that it still came down to a ticky-tack call at the end of the game, that we could have won that game against a team that's pretty much starting playoffs in mid-November, a very desperate team. I thought that was kind of a win. Obviously, it's not, not a silver lining here, but I'm just saying that's one thing I kind of took away, like kind of a positive spin with how that game went. But how do you rationalize it for some of these fans who are waving the white flag right now, JD?
Man, look, the best way I could put it is this. Look, this is the National Football League. No game is going to be easy. No road is going to be easy. I think we knew probably about 3 or 4 weeks ago that this was going to be a difficult task for us to get the number 1 seed, that even with the games we still had to play, they're still going to be tough. But I'm still encouraged, okay? We're 8-5, okay? Leading our division. We still went out. I still got my money on the Chiefs. I do. I do believe that we're going to take these extra games to get to where we need to get to. Defensively, we look good. We look phenomenal, look great times. Our offense, as many spots that we had that are negative, we see some bright spots also too. We're just not getting it over, the hump, if you will. Just not getting over the hump. But I'm hoping for a little breakthrough. I'm hoping, like seeing Kadarius Toney get out there and get some more touches this game, is something that we need to be seeing more of, right? So I think those things, they started trying to figure it out, get worked into because you have to do that. And I'm just saying, you look at these guys going to be on all cylinders when it counts the most. That's what I'm looking for. It counts the most. These guys are going to have it all together, okay? And that goes into the trust of Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and this defense that we got this humming. That's what it's going to boil down to. And running back Pacheco and those guys. So,
Teja, any takeaways for some of the fans to try to talk them off the ledge?
Rice and Kelce tie for 10 targets. That's encouraging. I think it should be Kelce, Rice, and Toney top 3 in targets from here on out, and then maybe the running backs next. At that point, I don't have a lot of confidence in most of the other guys catching balls. And it's good to see MVS come up with that grab. I mean, any grab, but that one, yeah, it was a key play. We played pretty good in the red zone, except for that last, pass fumble that got called back. If not for that, we would have been 3 for 3, but we were 2 for 3, which is pretty good. We beat them in third down conversions. So that was also pretty good. We were 3 of 6 in both halves. We lost the time of possession again and lost the game. That's a lot of games we lost time of possession. I need to go back and look how many games like last year and the year before we lost time of possession, because we've lost it in quite a few games this year. Buffalo Bills running game was pretty good. I felt like they should have ran it with Cook more, to be honest with you. Cook was eating it up pretty good against us. Hilaire had a good start, but after that, couldn't really get a lot of positive yards. I think he had the first 4 carries. He had 5, 5, 5, and 6. And then after that, I think he had 1 carry of over 4 yards the rest of the game. So we'll get a little more of that consistent 4 yard with Pacheco when he does come back. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely good things to draw from it. Look, we're a good team, but in my head, I just kept thinking just yet another week of not being good enough. And that's the bottom line.
CH looked good tonight. JD, I know you've been one to stick up for him all throughout these weeks and years and stuff. And a lot of people doubt him. He looked pretty sweet tonight.
Yeah, he did. Him and Jet both. I think they both look good. They, filling in, they did a good job. They did a really good job. So, oh man,
I think McKinnon needs to catch 3 balls a game at minimum every game. I think he needs like 3 to 5 targets every game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I mean, it's his time. We were saving him. That was in the past. Like this is what we saved him for. Like our playoffs should start very soon. Should start like now. I don't remember the last regular season like must-win game we've had in a long time, but it's pretty much coming to that point. We need to throttle. We need to kill the Patriots. Like it shouldn't even be a close game. A close game would disappoint me actually at this point. I think we need to show who we are by beating up on an inferior opponent and not just squeak by. So that's my what to look forward to for next week's game.
Opening line for that game, because it's at New England, but we are a 9.5 point favorite.
9.5?
9.5.
Ooh, that's scary. Single digits, man. That 9.5 is like putting like $1.99 on something. It's under $2. It's under $2. $1.99. It's pretty good, right? I owe that 9.5 is always like a single digits Chiefs against the terrible Patriots. Oof, man. Scary.
But you are starting to see a lot of people sell on us. So, I mean.
Yeah. You'll see a lot of money coming on us early on.
Mm-hmm.
I'll bounce back after that. An angry Mahomes, which we haven't really seen. So we haven't seen an angry Mahomes, and we haven't seen what an angry Mahomes does next because we haven't seen angry Mahomes. So this is all new for us, really.
Yeah, angry Mahomes does sound that's not kind of spicy for next week.
Yeah,
especially
no one's ever heard angry Kermit before because Kermit's never angry. Kermit's always happy.
Yeah. Well, so I guess the Cowboys and Eagles game is on right now, guys, and it's another loss, but again, they didn't eliminate us from contention. We're still in it. We're gonna be in it till late weeks of January, going to February. I honestly believe that. Not just saying that, not being biased here. I honestly believe that things hopefully will get to. You guys kind of alluded to it. One of the beauties of what we saw today, we're starting to see more each week. We're seeing more of a limiting of the wide receiver snaps. I don't even think I saw Sky Moore outside of more than I don't know what snap count was, but I didn't see much of a snap count tonight. I saw more of Richie James. I saw more of Tony, and we're seeing more and more Rice. I just want to see more Rice at the end of the game when it matters, when it's a crucial fourth down, and we need our best guys on the field. But it seems like every week they're starting to get that rotation down a little bit more. Hopefully they get that down before we get to the playoffs. But
Sky Moore had 1 target. I don't even remember it.
Yeah, I don't remember it either.
Must have been just a throwaway. He was the closest guy in the vicinity.
You know what? I think it was actually. It was one of the ones where he was just trying to get it out of his hand when he was back in sack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. But so schedule looking forward for this week for us. Obviously tomorrow, JD and I will be back on a live stream for 7 p.m. for our grade show, and I'm curious at the certain position groups. I'm curious about to see where you have on the grade report. You know, Professor Dunn. You know, after losses, Professor Dunn is not he's strict when it comes to his losses.
Well, you know, I'm strict with wins too. I'm gonna be fair. I'm gonna be
true.
fair. I don't worry about the wins and the losses. I just look at performance. That's all I look at.
One thing to keep in mind, JD, you know, teachers tend to kind of grade you up or down based on where you're going, your trajectory, and your pattern. So remember, last couple of weeks been doing this, so you got to keep that in mind when you're grading. Like, where are these guys headed?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. When I'm looking at this, I will be as balanced as possible. Okay, I will try to take everything in consideration and into account. All right, and like I said, I will be fair. So
that's all we ask.
Yeah, we'll see how it's gonna shake out. We'll see how it shake out.
He's tough, but he's fair at the end of the day.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, we'll see you guys tomorrow night on our live stream at 7 p.m. And yeah, for those who aren't on the live stream, it'll be on YouTube, or you can listen to it on anywhere you get your podcasts. Then, of course, Wednesday, JD and I will be back on another live stream for our show to preview our game against the New England Patriots. But we'll see you guys tomorrow night. Enjoy the Sunday night game, guys. Love you, fellas.
All right, guys.
You guys.
Take it easy.
Mark.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. Well, what was that?
I was just going to say, man, happy birthday. I know we didn't get to tell you yesterday. We seen it on there, but, you know, let everybody know if they didn't know. So everybody came on. It was your birthday yesterday, man. Happy birthday, brother. All right. That's all I wanted to say.
I appreciate it, man. Your video was amazing. I got a little teary-eyed watching this morning when I woke up after my long night that I didn't go to sleep till like 4 a.m. But I appreciate it, man. I love you, brother.
I love you too, man. Love you, brother, for sure. Happy birthday, brother. For
Thanks,
sure.
man. I appreciate it, man. All right, guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow night.
All right.
Later.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.